Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Capsule on Live and Limbo. I'm the publisher and chief editor of Live and Limbo, Sean Chin. With me, I have my co-host, Andreas. How's it going?
Everything's good. How are you, Sean?
Woke up this morning, did some exercise on the treadmill, had myself a coffee, and we're ready to talk about an awesome subject today.
Perfect. I woke up, had a slice of pizza that was cold, and had some root beer. And yeah, here I am.
Breakfast of champions. How about...
Oh, yeah.
And we have a really awesome guest today. He's a good friend of mine. He's actually a senior concert reviewer on Live and Limbo. He is Agah Bahari. How's it going?
Going good. Pleasure to be with you guys.
Pleasure to have you.
Yeah, so adding on to what we said, what did you start off the morning with today?
I have a pretty boring, I think, schedule. It's everyday thing. I wake up and meditate, shower. I study a little bit of mathematics, and then work on sound and music, reading the news, tweeting.
That's awesome. No, but you have a really interesting life because... So I don't think we're going to be able to go through your entire life story right now, but in a nutshell, you're super interesting because I'm just going to say this like really quickly and maybe you can correct and add stuff on. But you started off your career in music when you
Correct.
were actually banned from Iran. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So explain that a little.
Well, I started professionally in Iran in 2001. I formed and performed with the first official heavy metal music group in Iran, and I was banned. I was told that I was banned in 2006, but I was banned in 2003. Apparently, after a concert we had with a band called DNA. And they said that I'm banned to perform and record in Iran, so I couldn't really work. Then I moved to Canada.
How old were you at that age?
And when I came to Canada?
No, when you got banned for that performance that you did in
20.
20. Wow. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason for banning. So you got banned by the Cultural Society Department.
Yeah, there is I guess the governmental department. It's called the Ministry of Culture and Islamic Guidance. You have to take everything culture related. You have to take it there to get a permission to release or perform. And excuse me, my first concert and then the second band, which was DNA in 2003. We had permission, but in 2003 we had a video projection in our background while we were performing, and there was a sperm swimming around in one of the songs, and I think that was the one that kind of pissed them off.
Oh,
So,
that's...
so you got banned from a country. That's pretty big.
I don't even think that's bad of a reason.
Yeah. But who knows? Like we're Andreas and I are not from that part of the world, so we have no idea.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah, well, it's like, if they feel that you are, because the whole Western culture influence on that culture is a very big thing for them. So if they feel you're getting popular or more people are interested in what you're doing, they just basically want to cut you off instead of negotiating or compromising or anything with you.
And then after moving to Canada, after a few years of working in the music scene in Toronto, you became a voting member of the Grammys and a voting member of the Junos.
Wow.
That
Yeah,
is from your composing work, right?
Yeah, composing and producing.
That is. So tell me who did you work with from coming to Canada until that point of becoming a voting member of the Grammys? In that time span, who did you work with and what did you do?
I worked with a number of people. I did my first solo album with Derek Sherinian. He's a keyboard player for Dream Theater, Yngwie Malmsteen, Billy Idol, and then the drummer was Virgil Donati, has played with Steve Vai.
Oh, wow. You played with Virgil Donati.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Wow.
So
Yeah, Virgil is amazing.
One of the best in the world.
Absolutely.
And how did you, after coming to Canada, how did you manage to hook up with these guys?
Sharinian, I got in touch with him when I was in Iran. I recorded my first track when I was in Iran. I just woke up one day and I was not very happy in Iran. And so I was thinking about the stuff to what can I do to keep progressing because there wasn't much I could do over there. So I just woke up one morning. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to send this guy an email and tell him what I'm doing. I was working on my album and see what he thinks and how maybe we can work together or something. And then I sent him an email with one of my songs, and then he got back to me a couple of days after that, and he was very impressed. And he said, I'm on a tour, but let's talk on the phone when I got back. And it was just, unbelievable to me. And I stayed in touch with them. So when I moved to Canada, my main thing with working with Sharinian was eventually getting to Virgil. Because Virgil was a very big deal for me to work with, not only as a drummer, but also as the whole musician package, because he's also a composer. And then I moved to Canada. I decided to continue working on my album. So Sharinian suggested that, okay, let's get Virgil and a bass player named Rick Fiorabracci. He's played with Chick Corea Electric Band, Yanni, bunch of other people. Get them involved, and then that's how it happened. And then through them, I got connected to other people and more people and more people.
And then, so from building on your portfolio and your reputation, how did you become a voting member of the Grammys? Did they invite you, or did you approach them?
Voting member, somebody suggested to me that it might be a good idea just to network, expanding the network. And then I contacted them, and they require a certain number of songs that you have to have released. It's a different number of songs and when you have a physical CD, and it's a different number of songs when you have a digital releases. And I had like 2 songs short, I guess, and it took me about a couple of months after that to have two more songs. And then you need to be sponsored by 2 other people who are members, and that wasn't a problem because I knew at that time enough people to vouch for me.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. Bravo, man. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's incredible. Now, when it comes to the actual voting within the Grammys and whatnot, how exactly does that work? Are you part of voting the nominees as well, or how does it work really, this whole process?
Voting process of Grammy is very democratic, actually, because they send 2 different ballots to all the members. The first one is to select the nominees. So there are maybe 10 or 15 artists in each category, and then you have to pick, I think, 5 of them. You have 5 options for each category. You can vote in 20 categories in total, each member.
Right.
And then you send the ballot. That ballot comes around late October, early November. And then the second ballot comes, which is basically you vote for the winners. And that one's in December, and we don't know who will win until tomorrow.
Wait, so do they send you like a package with all the CDs in it, or do they give you like a digital download code? How do you get all of this stuff that you have to judge on?
There is a digital access. There's a website, Grammy 365. It's for members, so all the members are there. They're networked with each other. I was approached by around 100, 110, 120 people. They send me their CDs or link to their music. But you can also go and listen to a song or 2 of them on that website. But mostly it's about networking. You approach someone to get to know that person personally, and then send your CD. So I ended up with a mountain of CDs to listen to.
Crazy.
Yeah,
So
it's amazing.
Like,
it's great music.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's kind of like the screening process for the Academy Awards, where around this time of year, there's something called a screener, where it's a DVD quality release of films that are still in theaters, just released for Academy members, which unfortunately is the cause of most leaks at this time of year for these kinds of films. But that's basically how it works now, isn't it? Just networking and just passing along the actual project so you can actually judge for yourself which ones are worthy and whatnot, right?
Yeah, very much so.
Now, you said that you're only allowed to take part in a few of the categories. Which ones did you take part in, if you can remember?
Well, there's some standard ones like the best record of the year, best artist of the year, best new artist. But I'm really interested in the whole independent arts and independent artists, and I think they need it more than, for example, like Jay-Z or Eminem or whatever.
Right.
So out of 20, there are certain categories I can't vote because you have to be a member of a certain associations, like for mixing and engineering and all that.
Oh, okay.
So I voted on best jazz album, best jazz solo, best new artist. Yeah. It's the variety of categories, like a 40-something category. So it's always interesting.
So you've left a little bit of an imprint everywhere in the Grammys, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to fill up all the 20 as much as I can.
It's
For
pretty
sure.
amazing that one of my good friends and a writer on Live in Limbo is a voting member of the Grammys. I think that really solidifies our reputation as a whole.
And I didn't. Well, thanks.
No,
Sean.
you did. I think, Andreas, you'll get there. You'll become a judge of one prize one day.
We'll see. You actually answered a question I had before about the Grammys, because I noticed that this year for Album of the Year, at least 3 out of 5 of the nominees are actually from 2012 and not 2013. But you kind of answered that because you said the nominee ballots are pretty much finalized or released late October, early November, when albums like Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar were released, I think, shortly after that. So there's a cutoff point there, and isn't there, for what albums can be nominated for which year, right?
Yeah, the deadline is 1st of October. So if you submit, for example, this year, on 1st of October, it will be considered for 2014, basically, Grammys. So from last year, October 1st till September 30th this year will be considered for 2014.
Right. Okay.
And
so
then, yeah.
Sorry, were you saying something?
No, I was going to say that if it's after October, then it will be considered for the next year Grammy.
All right. So that makes sense. And at the same time, at first it was something I had a bit of a bone to pick with, but at the same time it kind of makes sense as well, because it's not like a movie where you can go and you watch it when it's released. Music, because of radios and because of YouTube now being an important place for music and all these social media sites, music needs a time to develop for songs to slowly be released. So generally, if an album comes out that late in the year, they won't be entirely noticed, depending on which audience, until the year afterwards. Like perhaps, again, Kendrick Lamar ballooned last year as opposed to late 2012, unless you were in specific circles, right?
But you're also voting, you're voting in October and then later in December.
Right.
So they want everything to be pretty much clear. Who's going to be submitting and who's going to be nominated by October.
Yeah, for sure.
But I understand it's a little bit confusing. It's not the first time that I'm being.
But then why aren't we seeing more artists releasing earlier in the year as opposed to later in the year, then, if they know that they might miss out on being nominated?
I'm not sure.
I might have a possible answer for that.
Oh, you do? Okay. What do you have to say?
Well, I don't think it's the same as films where there isn't a cutoff point when it comes to being nominated, and I think that a lot of musicians they release not according to award ceremonies, but they release according to when they could be heard. So let's say Beyonce, for example, last year released an album out of the blue, which came long after Lady Gaga did her album, long after Katy Perry's album. So those were all taking over the airwaves, taking over online. And once they died down a little bit, suddenly it was her time to release an album. Now, would it correlate with the award season? Absolutely not, because as we were just informed, that there's a cutoff point, and she won't be a part of this year's nominee list at all, or even have a chance, because it's far too late. But did her album sell? Did her album do extremely well, and did it get noticed? Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so we are going to go into 10 of the categories that I think are the top ones. But before we do that, I just wanted to say that Andreas has some kind of critique against the Grammys. And I'll give him a space to explain himself, and then we'll give Agah a chance to maybe clarify that. So
I'm defending the Grammys.
Yes, you are. Well, you're a voting
I guess
member.
you have to. You're
have
voting.
to. Okay, so we'll start off right at the top with record of the year. Can someone explain to me first what the difference between record of the year is versus song of the year? Agah, do you know?
Record of the year, I think it's the whole package that includes the composition, production, mixing, mastering, everything. That whole thing will create a record of the year, and then the song of the year is just a song in the musical sense of it.
All right, so let's go to record of the year. This is the one that Arcade Fire won, I think, 2 years ago.
They won album of the year, didn't they?
I thought it was record of the year. It was the last award.
It was album of the year, I think, for the
okay.
Suburbs.
Yeah, the Suburbs. That's right. Yeah.
Well, they should have won both. I don't know.
I think the only one won, though. Okay, so this year, 2014, the Grammys, which airs tomorrow, record of the year. We have the nominees.
2013.
13. Oh, my bad. Yeah. 2013. So, Get Lucky, Daft Punk, Radioactive, Imagine Dragons, Royals by Lorde, Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars, Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke, featuring TJ and Pharrell. T.I. Oh my God. I'm messing up.
That's
here.
all right.
Okay, so those are the nominees. Agah, who do you think is going to win? Wait, so you voted on this, right? Are you allowed to say who you voted for?
I voted for two of them. Well, it's happening tomorrow. I suppose I can. So it wouldn't make any difference.
Wait, you voted for two
I voted
of them?
for...
How can you vote for two of them?
Well, you can vote for 5.
But there's 5 nominees.
Yeah,
No,
but it depends on who will...
Oh, to win. Okay, so...
I voted for Get Lucky and then Royals.
Ah, very good.
You pleased both of us.
Yeah. How about you, Agah? I mean, Andreas. Who do you think is going to win?
I don't think I should vote for 2 of them, but okay, who do I want to win and who do I think is going to win? It actually fits both within this category because I want Get Lucky out of all of these to win, even though I know it's not my favorite song off Random Access Memories. It's the one that's nominated. Now, I think it's the most deserving to win within this ceremony because it's the artist that's nominated for Album of the Year, which none of the other ones are. So generally, that's kind of saying if it's Album of the Year, it means that it's a pretty consistent album, and the rest are kind of getting recognition for the kind of success that they've had this year, as opposed to one that's on a staple album that's being considered one of the best of the year.
Mm-hmm. So everyone knows that I'm a big fan of Lorde. She's nominated for 4 awards. I just find it interesting that she's not nominated for Best New Artist of the Year. How did that happen? Like, she's nominated for Record of the Year.
Well, it's all a matter of what they're submitting, what categories they're submitting for. But Lorde has been around for a while, actually, not as an artist.
She just didn't start over like last year or whatever. She's been in like signed to a development deal with Universal since she was 12 or something.
At the same time, though, isn't James Blake been around for a while too? Isn't this his second?
That's right. So yeah, it's kind of weird when they say Best New Artist. But okay, we'll get back to Record of the Year. I think Lorde is gonna win. That's who I want to win. But Lorde is interesting because I think she can either lose all the other ones and win Record of the Year or just win all of them.
I don't know if she'll win all of them.
No, I don't think she's going to win all of them either. So I think she might just win the Record of the Year one.
It'll be interesting to see because in the sense of business-wise, I mean, Lorde is signed to Universal Music, and Universal Music is single-handedly the only music label that actually makes money now.
Oh, really?
Ouch. So it will be very interesting to see how the politics of this whole thing would work because there are a lot of people who are involved in the process who are looking at it and approaching it just from the business point of view. And there might be some critics about it, but I think the most important thing is to realize music is a business, and the only reason we're having this conversation is because it's still a business and it's still an industry.
Yeah, of course.
And it's been under a pretty tough war since the Napster days, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with that.
No, for sure. I knew there had to be some sort of politics because even in the Academy Awards, where the film industry isn't nearly as pounded down on as the music industry is with the whole torrenting and pirating issue, there's still a lot of politics. Like, if a Weinstein is involved with a film, you can guarantee it's going to get at least a slew of nominations and a few awards even. And I knew that there had to be with the Grammys, there had to be with all of these kinds of awards, because that's basically how you get specific companies still going. So having said that, maybe, who knows, maybe Lorde may win a few awards, because if, as you say, Universal is the only company making a lot of money still, well, not a lot of money, but a significant amount, then perhaps to keep that going and to give them a good image, then Lorde might be voted more so, right?
Yeah, plus, she's in the age that, no, we can talk about that, the whole music industry and entertainment industry, because I don't think there much of a difference now between the different segments of what's going on in entertainment industry.
Right.
But she's in the right age to, well, from the business point of view, to generate enough money for enough years, for long enough. And so she would be very right to invest on in from any point of view that you look at it in the business.
Until she burns out, until she's like a Justin Bieber or something.
Well, I don't
know. Lindsay Lohan. No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think that will happen. You see the difference actually between the teenage stars that are coming from anywhere else except America. They're actually doing a very good music. It's this Lorde from New Zealand.
Yes.
It's Avicii from Sweden. A number of people in dance music, pop music all around the world. And then in America, it's a matter of money, basically, because they just want to make as much money as quickly as they can.
Right.
And then when it's not working, because Justin Bieber's sales wasn't that good last year. Last year, Grammy, he didn't get any kind of nomination, and that pissed the manager off to no end. And then you see what they're doing with bringing back Miley Cyrus. They're like, okay, let's try that. Let's see how that goes, how we can make some money out of that.
Yeah, that's the thing, because... Sorry, did you have something to add?
No, it's okay.
Okay. With Lorde, like I've said to Sean before, I like her. I'm not huge on her, as some people might be, including Sean himself. But I do respect her, and I do... Like, she has come out with some public things that have given her a bit of scrutiny, especially with her involvement with the feminist movement and her really vocal stance on it. But at the same time, she's apologized for it. She's still young. She's 16, and that's a kind of an excusable form of her being in her youth, instead of what Justin Bieber's doing now. Like, he just got arrested for a DUI, as opposed, along with beating up a security guard at a nightclub, with being lifted along the Great Wall of China on his security guards' backs. Like, just so many, it's countless things. I remember last year when they had a list of things, I was like, I didn't even hear about half of these. There's just so many things he's doing. Now, with Lorde, she's apologized for what she's done. She was just a little bit vocal. Like we all are at that age where we're trying to discover ourselves. And she's got the music that she wants to be making, and she's got the identity that she's already created. And it's not like it's one that's created for her. You could tell that it's one that she's very in favor for herself. Now, like as you said, in North America, they try and stick onto whatever trends are happening. So they'll throw these young stars at whatever these trends are, whether they agree with them or not, and suddenly they're stuck. And because they're stuck, they want to break out, which is possibly why we have Lindsay Lohan's and we have Justin Bieber's. Doesn't excuse their behavior, but it kind of gives a little bit of an insight as to why that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really blame Justin Bieber himself or people like him. It's to me, it's like, when you go to McDonald's and you don't like your Big Mac and then start yelling at the person who flipped the burger.
Yeah.
Because it's not that person's fault. Justin Bieber is basically a product that's been developed in the way that he has.
Yeah.
But with Lorde and a lot of other artists, again, outside of, I would have said North America, but it really is specific to the United States. They have a lot of freedom to do the kind of stuff that they want to do, because they can find the fans that they can approach and they can attract through internet with lots of stuff that is available to them.
Yeah.
And this is something that unfortunately the music industry and entertainment industry is becoming more in the mainstream sense of it, more business oriented in America. And I think they're losing a lot of edge and a lot of potential and possibility that they can reach and create because of the internet and all the magic of the new technology that we have.
Yeah. So I just wanted to recap. So for record of the year, so Agah voted for Get Lucky, Lorde, and Andreas is predicting Get Lucky, and I'm voting on Lorde. So yeah.
So it has to be one of those two.
Yeah,
then.
it should be one. I don't know. I like Imagine Dragons, but I don't know why they're nominated for record of the year.
I'm not a big fan of theirs at all, to be honest.
So we'll see how that goes. They might win. Who knows? All right. Next category: album of the year.
Oh, gonna go straight to album of the year. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the second one they listed on the Grammy website. So. Yeah.
Oh, you're just going in that order.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, we got Sarah Bareilles with The Blessed Unrest, Daft Punk's Random Access Memory, Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City, Macklemore and Ryan Lewis's The Heist, and Taylor Swift with Red.
Is that how you pronounce her name, Sarah? How do you pronounce her name again?
Bareilles? No.
I just called it Bareilles this whole time. Am I being wrong? Whoops. I have no idea.
We'll figure it out tomorrow when they announce it.
No, that's when we'll be like, that's her name and she won. Oh.
All right, Agah. Who did you vote for this one?
I did Daft Punk and Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I did too.
So what about you, Andreas? Who do you think is going to win this one, and who do you want to win?
Okay. The two nominees that I like out of this list, particularly, are Kendrick Lamar and Daft Punk. I thought Kendrick Lamar's album was pretty significant in the hip-hop industry because it was a concept album that kind of played on all of the typical tropes you'd find in hip-hop, and then it spoke against them at the same time through this one kid's story. And that definitely grew as this year went on. Like I said before, it was released late 2012, but it didn't have a chance to grow within the mainstream realm as much as it could have until 2013 hit, when he started getting more and more significant viewership, or listenership rather. Now, if I had to pick between which one I would prefer to win, maybe Daft Punk, not just because they actually came out last year with an album, but because they dominated most of 2013 with a large number of tracks, with the huge amount of promotion that they did. Everybody was hooked for months just waiting for this one song, which was Get Lucky at the end.
That started from a promo on Saturday Night Live.
Yep. It was like awesome. A very small clip. People were instantly getting loops of just the track and just making their own songs. Like, they caught people off guard and kept a big grip on them for months before this thing actually dropped. And the music videos have been passed around a lot, especially the one with Julian Casablancas. They've just had like a huge impact, and because of that, I think they're the ones that might actually win.
Yeah, I think Daft Punk will win Album of the Year, but I also really I don't listen to her music on a constant basis, but I did get the chance to photograph and review her concert at the Rogers Center, who's Taylor Swift. I think she has like a really solid album there with Red.
You never know.
Yeah, I agree.
She might.
No love.
I hope
no love for Macklemore there. No love for Macklemore.
He's all right. I think he's a bit overblown.
I like Macklemore. How about you, Agah?
I have no comments.
Oh, okay. All right. Moving right along then.
I think he's got the same feeling I do.
All right. Okay. Song of the Year. Okay.
This category.
Yes. So we have. Wait. Oh no. Where'd my list go?
I've got it. I can do it for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Song of the Year, we have Just Give Me a Reason by Pink featuring Nate Ruess. We have Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars. We have Roar by Katy Perry. We have Royals by Lorde. And we have Same Love by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis featuring Mary Lambert.
All right, Agah. Who did you vote for?
I definitely voted for Royals.
There we go.
Yeah, I think I also voted for Just Give Me a Reason.
In your books, Lorde has this year.
I hope so. And
have you ever met her by any chance?
No, unfortunately, not yet.
Damn it.
Yeah. But again, I'm looking at it from an artistic point of view and then a business point of view, and from both angle, I think she would be very good to win as many awards as possibly can.
Yeah. I think Song of the Year should go to Royals too, even though that's not my favorite of her album by a long shot. I think there's five other songs on there that are way better. I think Roar by Katy Perry is actually very catchy. So.
Oh no.
Beyond. So what about you, Andreas?
You're gonna be happy to hear that I think that Royals might be the one that wins this one. Like you said, I wasn't too big on Lorde at first because how was the song they put out, and it's easily one of the worst songs on Pure Heroin. She's got a lot better.
Not worst, but like I would say mediocre.
Not as good.
Yeah, mediocre.
Yeah, of course. But she definitely has a lot of better songs. Now, having said that, this is the song that's being nominated, and because it's being recognized elsewhere, that specific song, and it definitely has, out of these songs anyways, it's definitely the strongest. I never thought I'd say that, but it is. So I'm gonna go with Royals for both preference and which I will think I actually win.
So if Royals was her mediocre song in our opinion, why did that one become the most popular?
It was the most accessible, I guess.
Was it? Agah, what do you think?
I think, well, that's one of the shortest ones in the album, if I'm not mistaken, and that's always the song that they invest a lot on it because that will cost less to make music videos and promotional videos and all that for it, and it's very catchy. Yeah. So.
And it's very fitting with. Sorry.
It's not my favorite of the album, but I think it's in the mainstream sense of ways, it's very suitable.
She's going to be performing at the Grammys. I think, do you think she's going to be performing that one? I think she might be performing Team, which I think would be a better...
Yeah, that's a better one.
I think she will perform Royals.
Yeah, because that's what's nominated.
Oh, well, okay. All right, so this is the one I was talking about before. Best New Artist. We have James Blake, Kendrick Lamar, Macklemore Ryan Lewis, Casey Musgrave, and Ed Sheeran. Agah, who did you vote for?
I voted for Ed Sheeran and Casey Musgrave.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I really like James Blake.
Yeah.
But I don't really consider him a new artist.
Yeah, I know. So that's weird.
Yeah, me neither.
That's weird. So, And you, what about you, Andreas?
The two I like the most are James Blake and Kendrick Lamar, and I have a feeling Kendrick Lamar might win because he's actually nominated for Album of the Year.
Yeah.
Well, so is Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, but I think, I don't know actually.
I just don't understand how Lorde is not on Best New Artist. Like, she came out last year, and that doesn't make any sense. And she has the other nominations.
Stuff happens, I guess. I don't know.
they forgot or something.
That's a good point.
Next category is Best Pop Solo Performance. We got Brave by Sarah Bareilles. I hope that's how you pronounce it. Royals by Lorde. When I Was Your Man by Bruno Mars. Roar by Katy Perry. Mirrors by Justin Timberlake. Who did you vote for, Agah? Or did you vote for
I voted for Royals and Mirrors.
Ah, nice.
Yes. I would do the exact same thing as you did.
Yep, me too.
Same thing?
Yep. Now, who do I think will actually win? Well, Sarah Bareilles, if that's how you say it, might have a shot because she's Album of the Year, or she's been nominated for that. My personal preference would be Mirrors by Justin Timberlake.
Do you think people that perform, is that kind of like a hint that they are going to win something if they're performing?
Yeah, I personally think so.
It's hard to tell.
Has there been anyone that performed that did not win any award?
Yes.
Yeah?
A lot of them.
Oh, that must suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to win for sure. We've been practicing months for this song. Okay, here we go. And we lose. That's unfortunate.
All right. How about this one? Best Pop Duo / Group Performance. We have Get Lucky by Daft Punk. Just Give Me a Reason by Pink. Stay by Rihanna. Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke. And Suit and Tie with Justin Bieber and Jay-Z.
Oh, whoa.
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Oh, you just committed a sacrilege, man.
Why?
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber?
You said Justin Bieber and Jay-Z.
No, did I say? Oh, no, Justin Timberlake. Oh,
It's okay. He's been in the news recently. I don't blame you. It's okay.
Credibility has decreased 50 points.
Sorry, we called you out, man.
We have a guy there. Oh, my God. All right. So, Agah, who did you vote for?
I definitely did not vote for Justin Bieber. I voted for Get Lucky and Suit and Tie.
Ah, good.
Maybe that would be a good thing for Justin Bieber to team up with Jay-Z or something.
No, I don't think or Jay-Z would want to team up with him.
No. Okay. How about you, Andreas? Who do you want to win this one?
Hate to say same artist over and over again, so Daft Punk, but if I had an alternative, yeah, I'd go with Suit and Tie.
Yeah, I agree. I would do the same thing. Daft Punk all the way there.
Sorry, Blurred Lines, you're not getting anything from me.
I bet you he's gonna win everything that we said he's not gonna win.
Who's that?
Blurred Lines.
Blurred Lines.
They got
Probably.
sued by Marvin Gaye family because they said that yes, I don't even know what happened to that case and how they're nominated for that. I'm a big fan of Pharrell Williams though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
So-
love Pharrell. Yeah.
Yeah, he's very, very, very talented man.
Well-
I had the pleasure to meet him last year at
Oh yeah,
Grammys.
how did that go?
Awesome, very nice
What
guy.
did you say to him? Or did you talk about anything?
We did talk a little. I probably can't talk about it here,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's it's just basically networking, right?
Oh, it was business talk. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome though. Good job.
Yeah, we'll get into what you did last year when you went to the Grammys as a VIP. We'll do that right after we get through all these categories. All
Okay,
right, next one is Best Rock Performance. We have Always All Right by Alabama Shakes, The Stars by David Bowie, Radioactive by Imagine Dragons, Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, and My God is the Sun by Queens of the Stone Age, and I'm Shaken by Jack White. Did you vote on this one, Agah?
I did. I voted for The Stars, Kashmir, and I'm Shaking.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Jack White might win that one.
I hope David Bowie does because
I think David Bowie would. I just hope very strongly. So
I'm sure
think.
David Bowie would not have any issues winning that one. So.
no, it's
Yeah.
not just because of his name. It was actually a phenomenal
Yeah.
return for him.
You
And
you
it was
reviewed
great
that one,
comeback.
didn't you?
I did. And I
Yeah,
thought it was a
you did.
great album.
Do you remember what you gave it?
Gave it a 9.2 out of 10, I believe.
Very good. So you should have no issues there.
Well, it's not about me. It's about him
Yeah,
winning.
yeah. All right. Next category is best pop vocal album. So we have Paradise by Lana Del Rey, Pure Heroine by Lorde, Unorthodox Jukebox by Bruno Mars, Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke, and The 2020 Experience by Justin Timberlake.
Ooh.
Did not mess that up. Okay.
No.
Who did you vote for, Agah?
I voted for Paradise, Pure Heroin, and 2020 Experience.
Oh, so 3 of them you got one.
I agree with
Yeah.
most of your votes. Well done.
I like
No,
Lana
thank
Del
you.
Rey, actually. I like Lana Del Rey.
I love Lana Del Rey. I think she's amazing.
Oh yeah, I love her too. I think a little bit of the album was a little bit underwhelming, but its strengths were definitely fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah.
I would give this
The
to
remixes of this album is actually just as good as the songs, if not better.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's why Paradise Edition
Yeah.
rather than Born to Die, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I think this one will go to either Lana Del Rey or Lorde. How about you, Andreas?
This is tough. I think it's either Lorde or Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, they all have... Yeah, no, this is a pretty solid nominated category right here.
Except for Blurred Lines, but that's just a personal. That's just a personal opinion. Compared to some of the other categories, yeah, it's one of the better ones. I'd say.
All right, here, this is one that I like a lot. The Best Dance and Electronica Album. We have Random Access Memories by Daft Punk, Settle by Disclosure, 18 Months by Calvin Harris, Atmosphere by Cascade, and a color map of the sun by Pretty Lights. Agah, who did you vote for?
I voted for Random Access Memories and A Color Map of a Sun.
Oh, that's interesting. In this one, I really like Disclosure. I love their album Settle.
Oh, yeah?
I think Daft Punk will win this just because of how big they are, but I think Disclosure, they're very innovative and they do a lot of collaborations now. I think they might just win. How about you, Andreas?
Well, for me, this is like nominating Up for Best Animated Film and then having it as Best Picture nominee. It's pretty much guaranteed that it's going to win Best Animated Film. I think it's pretty much guaranteed that Daft Punk's going to win. I think the rest of these are kind of what I like about this category a lot is that it's very non-typical. A lot of these are recognition of albums that deserve to have their name put out there, like Disclosure, like you said, because they're slowly gaining momentum with all the collaborations they've done. They're all pretty solid releases on here. I think it's a guaranteed win, but I think with the rest of the nominees, it was more of a way of recognizing some other true talents that we've had last year.
Yep, I agree. And Disclosure just played recently in Toronto, and our reviewers, Mike Gallagher, he loved it. So
that would have been awesome to have seen.
Yeah. All right, and our final, the final category that I chose that I think is really necessary to talk about is Best Rock Album. We have 13 by Black Sabbath, The Next Day by David Bowie, Mechanical Bull by Kings of Leon, Celebration Day by Led Zeppelin, and Like Clockwork by Queens of the Stone Age, and Neil Young with Psychedelic Pill. Again, this is a super stacked category.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Agah, who did you vote for?
I voted for 13, The Next Day, and Psychedelic Pill.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
How about you, Andreas? Who?
Well, I'm going to pick two because I think my choice is obvious here. The Next Day by David Bowie and Like Clockwork by Queens of the Stone Age, I think. Those are my personal preferences. If I had to pick one that would actually win, it's between David Bowie and perhaps Neil Young.
Yep, I think this one will go to David Bowie for sure.
Hopefully.
Yep. All right, so are there any other categories you wanted to go into? Those were just the top 10, I think, were important. Yeah, Agah,
were you asking me?
Yeah,
or?
yeah, Agah, yeah, you said you like the independent and world music stuff. What about those categories? Who do you
we
think?
don't necessarily have to go through them.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
But in the best metal album, what's interesting to me is that Dream Theater got the nomination.
Oh yeah,
and I think they really really deserve to win this because it's been a
I actually
very long
I
time.
like Dream Theater. Have they ever won anything before from
No.
the Grammy? No, not even nominated.
They got nominated, but they haven't won.
Yeah, I really like Dream Theater. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the nominees. What are the nominees for that one?
Best metal album. Let's see.
I see Metal Performance, but that's...
Metal performance. TNT by Anthrax, God Is
Oh, it is
Dead
that
by
one.
Black Sabbath, The Enemy Inside, Theater, In Due Time, Kill Switch Engage, and Room 24 by Volbeat featuring King Diamond.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of the songs selected, but if any had to win, it's probably Dream Theater or Black Sabbath. I think you're right on the money there. I think Dream Theater's got a shot.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into Andreas's slight rant, maybe. Okay, so
Speaking of my displeasure.
all right, so Agah, just let Andreas say what he wants. Try to keep it to maybe like a minute or two.
Oh,
and then we'll
I'll
let Agah try clear it up and clarify it. Maybe he'll help Andreas understand it. All right, so Andreas, take it away.
I'll try my best. Now, this is not a personal attack or anything. This is mostly just a personal opinion and whatnot. But I feel that the Grammys are a bit sometimes slanted or a little bit iffy compared to the other awards, like perhaps the Emmys or the Oscars and whatnot. Because I feel like, especially with the Academy Awards as of late, the Academy Awards have given a lot of ease and tried to bring up some lesser known films, and they're trying to break out of the whole being nominated at the end of the year kind of, let's pick political films, or let's pick Oscar bait quote unquote films, so to speak, especially as of late. Like last year, Amour, which was a foreign film, got a lot of recognition, and that was a film that wasn't even just a foreign film from Austria, but it was lesser known to the mass public, and it got all sorts of nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Foreign Film, of which it won, and so forth. Now, with the Grammys, I feel like a lot of it has to do with solely on popularity, and as opposed to just diving deeper into the respected genres. Now, I don't think that all of what they pick are usually bad. Like Kendrick Lamar for a hip hop album for album of the year was a good choice. Daft Punk was a good choice. Sarah Bareilles or Barry Ellis, whatever, was a good choice. But I feel like a lot of it has to do with what people know as opposed to the actual credibility. Like Snoop Lion, for instance, being nominated for Best Reggae, I think is a bit iffy because Snoop Lion is a name that people know, but it was a very underwhelming and disappointing album. And even with the metal category, Black Sabbath, Anthrax, even Killswitch Engage are names that people know. When albums by Death Heaven, for instance, which got the highest rated album on Metacritic, the first time a metal album's ever done that, which came out in June or July, so it had a lot of time, even got recognized by Rolling Stone, even got recognized by all sorts of publications, didn't really get anything here because their name outside of the actual metal circle or those who dive into actual music genres the most. For casual listeners, that's a name that they wouldn't recognize, whereas Disclosure, for instance, is a name that's slowly building up, so that's a name that people will recognize. I just feel like a lot of the actual nominees have to do with success as opposed to actual quality. That's just how I feel about that. Okay, I think I went over
that's the fair argument from a personal point of view. I think the only thing I can say is that more musicians and more people in the industry have to get involved in the voting process, because voting is very democratic. And I started as a nobody. I'm not anybody right now either.
Hey, you have your own Wikipedia page, Agah.
No, you're bigger than us. Don't worry about that.
But it's a very, like, from what I experienced, it's a very democratic process, but it's all a matter of who you approach and who heard of what. I was attacked one day pretty much with like 300 tweets in about an hour. They were not very happy about excuse me, certain hip-hop artists not getting the nomination. And then, I didn't really know what to say, because they were like, well, what is the reason that this person didn't get the nomination? And all I could say is that this is a collective process, that everybody have their own opinion, and it's not only one person or two person or anything like that.
Right. So why would it be your fault?
Their promotional team added my Twitter account as well as a couple of other, and said, these people are the voting member of Grammys, attack them.
Oh wow.
That's not nice. That's mean.
Not. Yeah, that's unfair.
But I understand. I mean, you're a fan, and I think they did the right thing because now I know that person, so I will listen to his music and say, okay, what's all this thing about? Because I didn't even hear about him.
Who was the artist that they were?
I can't really tell. I mean, it will be a promotion, so they will win if I say something right.
Oh, all right.
But I think the only thing is that if you have an album, 2 albums out, approach people in the Recording Academy and see how you can get involved, because for a lot of people, they just don't care about it. Yeah. And if you don't care about it, the people who really care about it are the people who are in the labels and in the companies, big companies, because the Grammy is basically a guarantee sell for at least an upcoming year for you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, you're absolutely right.
If more people get involved, more people will be heard, and they can tip the balance eventually. But it's a fair argument.
No, and that's a fair answer, because you answered something that pretty much was a go-to answer for a lot of people, especially in like the metal or rock social groups, where like an artist like Pearl Jam, they won back in the 90s, and when Eddie Vedder went on stage, he's like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this trophy. I don't really care for it. Not everybody that wins actually cares, but especially nowadays, it's all about the promotion, and those who do want to win will promote more so. Not every artist does care about winning, but some do, and I can guarantee that the artists that have been nominated pretty much care about the actual wins, because it doesn't mean just more sales, but it means like them being a staple within the industry now. No, I think you're absolutely right that not every artist wants to win and thus won't promote themselves as such.
And I also think part of it is music. The other part is pure business. I think it's just very deserving for people who sell a lot of albums to be noticed and to be celebrated, because those are the people who keep this industry alive the way it is now. Until we come up with some sort of a better alternative for what's going on right now. So yeah, part of it is music, and part of it is the award itself.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
So did that answer or clarify your concerns?
It did. It's kind of like the whole thing about MTV not playing music when they're sticking to these shows. Remember that video that came out a few years ago where it basically said, F you, we don't play music because it's a dying genre and a lot of people will stick to these reality shows, so that's why we play them, so we could feed our own kids. It's kind of the same thing where it's something that I might still disagree with, but I can actually understand why it's happening.
They have
now.
a reason. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you see, you got to understand that MTV is the sole purpose of the music industry being in such situation right now.
Yeah.
Because in early 80s, there were nobodies, and then they start putting these music videos out, and everybody start paying attention, and then the whole attention of the public went on, okay, it's one music video that we see by an artist on MTV, and that would be it. That would be what we're going to pay attention to. And then they start adding more good-looking people, certain standards to the music video, and then they basically took music industry as a hostage, that in 70s and 60s and even the early 80s, it was not about having a hit song in your album. It was about the whole album. You could have a couple of good songs in your album. But it turned in 90s and the early first decades of 21st century that you should have one good song that meets certain criteria, that it's less than 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes, and it should look like this, blah, blah, blah.
Which is bizarre, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Napster happened and everything after that, and they were like, okay, music doesn't make any money, so we're out. But they left the mark and the damage that they've done to the music industry, and somehow we have to recover from that. And I think it's going to the right direction, but it's very, very slow, because business is always conservative. They don't really want to take any risks, especially in this time.
Oh, of course.
So it really is a responsibility of independent artists, again, to get involved and do more, instead of just, because I talk to a lot of people who are independent artists, and they're like, well, we just don't care about what's going on in mainstream, but you should care, I think, because if you really want to change what's going on, you have to get involved and take part in it.
So in your opinion, Agah, what needs to be done to change that?
What needs to be done is for people, I think that the first thing is to change the perspective that we do not need labels anymore. Because working with a music label right now is like getting a very bad loan from a bank.
Oh, yeah, that's a good analogy.
You need everything you need. You have Facebook, you have YouTube, you have Twitter, you can approach as many people as you want. All you have to do is learning more skills than just being a musician or just being a guitar player or just being a drummer or just a singer.
Actually, sorry, continue?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Sorry. What you said before actually raised 2 points for me. MTV actually, instead of moving music forwards, as you've just made me realize, even though it was so obvious, actually puts music backwards, because back in the 50s, it would be the one song that was written for people. And like Elvis never wrote any of his own songs. He flat out admitted that. He said, I never did anything. I just sang them. And then it was artists in the early 60s like the Beatles and the Beach Boys and Van Morrison that tried to make an album that was a collective unit with Sgt. Pepper's and Astral Weeks and the like, as opposed to just one or two songs. And what you just said was, because of music videos, it went all the way backwards to just having the one song that would sell, which is kind of interesting because it was such a development that just got shot backwards, right?
Yeah, it's also a difference between the business side of it, because in 50s and 60s and late 40s, 50s and 60s, when music labels start to grow and they're like, okay, this is a good business, we can make a lot of money out of it. The people who were running them were old, rich men who had no idea about music, and they really knew that they had no idea about music. So when you were bringing an album to them, they're like, well, we don't know what it is. Let's put it out and see how it works. And if it works, we put the second one. If it doesn't work, we just wouldn't put anything. And as a result of that, 60s and 70s were heaven for people, just to start in the best way possible. But then they were replaced by people who were younger, who were more hip, and they thought that they knew exactly what we need to hear, what the society wants to hear.
Yeah.
And it's that type of mentality that's still going on. You know, there are a lot of good people in music industry like Rick Rubin, who have a lot of great positive influence in what's going on. But, you know, the majority of the business side of it, it's still strictly business side. This is good, this is bad. But I think the whole downloading thing, I encourage people to download even more, because then it will force those people to actually come up with alternatives, with something that would work more.
Download illegally or legally?
Yes, illegally.
Illegally, okay.
Yeah, I think it's something that, you know, it's very unrealistic to say that people have to stop it and we can't ever get rid of it. You know, once you give something for free to people, you can't get it back.
Yeah, it's been doing that. People have been doing that for ages with like recording stuff on actual cassettes. It's not something that's new. It's just something that's easier.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different technology, and I'm coming from a background like in Iran. Releasing an album was almost impossible, but putting concerts were much easier. So people were giving away albums for free, so they could promote for their shows. And this is exactly what's happening now. You know, you don't really make that much money out of an album sale. It's all tour and merchandise.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. And what you were saying before about artists not wanting to be a part of the mainstream when they should be, I agree with that, because there's a new radio station now. Not senseless promoting, I swear I don't have anything to do with them. The new indie station in Toronto, 88.1, is actual proof of that, because now they're actually having all these billboards all over the place saying what's on this station. So if you don't check in, you don't know. So it causes that kind of sense of mystery. And all they play is indie stuff. All they play is stuff like Vampire Weekend and My Bloody Valentine. And actually, they do play some Lordes, actually, not Royals, but they play some of the other stuff on her album. And it's solely just picking songs that aren't already famous from the mainstream for the most part, except for like one or two Coldplay songs that I heard, but that's okay. Coldplay are all right. And they're bringing them out there. So now these indie artists, which not necessarily want to be that well known, are being promoted. So that kind of push, if not by the artists themselves, but by people who want music like this to continue to grow, I think is what's significant. And I do think that downloading is as bad as it is good, because I think it does promote artists which many of us may not have ever heard of if we had not downloaded them. And me, myself, I buy whatever I end up liking. So there are a few of us that still contribute to the strength of the industry. But no, you're absolutely right. Any independent artist still needs some push to not maybe make it for themselves if that's not their concern, but to at least keep their genre and their style alive.
So
yeah, definitely.
Andreas, so just to get it clear, you're saying Indie 88 is net negative or net positive there?
It's good. I think it's a good station.
Okay, yeah.
No. I wasn't like, oh no, I don't like it when things are mainstream. No, it wasn't anything like that. It's, I think it's a fantastic station. And then there's another station I've just discovered. I can't remember what the number is, but it's G, where it just has R&B, reggae, rap, but non-typical stuff, and it's just fantastic. And if we had more stations like that, as opposed to, I won't pick any names to create some enemies, but some stations that stick on the same 3 songs, like something MTV would do, as like I brought up, we'd have music continue to live, as opposed to just be stuck in a rotation and a routine of what's trendy and what's popular.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so let's kind of get back to what I mentioned before. So, Agah, last year, you had the awesome privilege of attending the Grammys as a VIP. How was that?
Yeah.
How was that? That must have been pretty awesome.
That was insane. Yeah, that was crazy.
You styled and profiled?
Well, yeah, the first thing I realized was that I'll be completely fine with selling out. But then it was explained to me that it's not selling out, it's buying in.
Buying in. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
what did you wear? What did you wear? How did you decide on what to wear?
You need to have a black tie. Black tie, it's the only basically thing that they insist on.
The only requirement.
Yeah, I had blue jeans and a white shirt and a jacket suit and a black tie.
Oh, that's crazy. I want to be a part of the Grammy voting nomination.
Did you wear any like designer clothing or anything?
Oh no, I'm a Zen Buddhist minimalist,
okay.
and I'm not really very talented in that category.
You'll get there. You'll get there, man. You'll get there. All right. So when you go to the VIP party, who did you get to meet?
I met a number of people. I met Justin Timberlake. I met what's her name? Penny in Big Bang Theory.
Oh,
Kaylee,
I know her name. It's
Kaylee.
Kaylee Cuomo or something.
Yeah.
Kelly Coco, I think.
Coco. Cool. There's a U in there.
Her name's
I met her. I met Frank Ocean.
Oh, wow. How was that?
It was awesome.
Like,
yeah,
I know that you can't tell us anything like business wise, but like,
I really
did you have
can't.
any did you have any casual conversations? Like, was anyone really, really nice to you?
Everybody were incredibly nice, and I think it's at the point that then they see your badge and they know that you're not media, and they just they be very comfortable, because at that point you're just not a fan, or you're just not a media. You're basically a colleague, and that's the biggest thing, I think, to wrap your head around it. That I have to start, behaving as one.
Exactly. That's like the most real conversation they'll have that night, because it's not tending to a fan that's got like a lot of obsessions, or it's not tending to the media which wants to get double-edged questions. It's just somebody that's in the music industry that can actually have a civil conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And beside famous people and mainstream people, there are a lot of great independent artists. There's one Afghani artist, Omar Akram. He won the best world music album last year.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I had a conversation with him, and I'm gonna mention 2 albums actually for this year. They didn't got the nomination, but great album. One is by an Indian artist, Ricky K, Shanti Orchestra, and there was another one, classical album, Tom Nazziola. The album's called Transcendence. Great pieces of music, but again, it's a matter of how good you're promoting it.
Right.
And how well they're heard to get the nomination.
I should check these out.
Yeah, send me those links after, and I'll put them in the show notes so everyone
Sure.
else can check them out.
That'd be awesome.
There you go, guys. You got your promotion. There you go.
So yeah, you've been. There has to be one person or group that really stood out to you when you attended last year. Who was that?
That wouldn't be very fair to say. That I love the whole thing.
Or who were you most starstruck to meet?
I met Rick Rubin, but I couldn't really talk to him that much. And Rick Rubin is a very, very influential figure to me. He became the most influential, the best producer in the 20th century. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Oh, I know who he is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
and it was for me like seeing Jesus, basically. It's like, oh, he's real,
That's a big deal, though.
Yeah, very much so. And it's the point that a friend of mine was saying that it's like going, if you look at music industry as a street, that's the end of the street in the business side of it. That this is it.
Yeah, you can't go any further.
No, and that's a very good, experience to have. I'm like, okay, this is where I stand, so I have to kind of plan my moves and the future plans according to what's happening today and what I learned today.
At what
That's
point
crazy.
when you were there during the day or the week, when did it hit you and you were like, oh crap, I'm actually here. I'm a colleague.
I was in the car because I went to Las Vegas. We drove with a friend of mine from Vegas to Los Angeles, listening to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas audiobook.
Oh wow, that must have been
And-
interesting.
Yeah, I saw the outskirts of Los Angeles, and that was then. I was like, holy shit, we're actually doing this.
No, that's amazing. That's an amazing story. That's great. So coming back to what you do with us right now,
Yeah.
how does being part of the media at the same time feel? Or does that have any contradictions, or do you not feel that?
I don't feel any contradiction. I just feel privileged
You
to
get
be
to-
able to.
You get your hands in both sides of
Yeah.
the industry. Yeah. So last year, your most popular review for Live in Limbo was Megadeth.
Oh, cool.
That was at the Molson Amphitheater, and that got over 1,800 likes on Facebook. That's pretty
Yeah, it
cool.
was crazy, right?
And that was featured on their website too, I believe.
Yeah,
Oh, there
Megadeth
you
and
go.
Gigantor.
That's pretty awesome. And so what was your favorite concert to attend last year? It doesn't have to be one that you reviewed for us, but like what was your favorite concert from last year?
Favorite concert from last year? I love Yes at the Massey Hall. I actually did review that.
Okay, yeah.
Meshuggah was amazing. I was seeing Meshuggah for the second time.
Oh, I want to go see them live. That must have been insane.
Yeah, they're unbelievable.
Where did they perform?
Both time they played in Sound Academy.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, great sound there, right?
Yeah.
Not so much on the location though, just the sound.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It's
the
sound.
location is crazy. Exactly. It's very cold too.
Now, this year with everything like the Grammys and all of that, two questions which are kind of similar. What was your favorite album of 2013, and what's your favorite album or artist getting recognized at the Grammys this year? And like, who do you think who got left out unjustly, or if that's a word, apart from the two albums you mentioned before?
I don't know. Is Eminem nominated for the best?
I don't think so.
Well, that's a pity. I thought that was a very good album, but again, it came out very late. It came out, I think, in September.
Yeah.
If not October, it might be nominated for next year. I'm not sure, but I'm talking about the artists who might be a little bit more obscure in a mainstream sense of way. Boards of Canada album.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Tomorrow's Harvest was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a very good album. And there's a British band called Bonobo. They released the album called The North Borders. I think they're one of those bands that are introducing a new concept of making music and on the sound and style. But again, they're very indie.
No, I've not heard of them. So I'll have to check that out too.
Yeah. Drake album was pretty good, I thought. What was the Nothing Was the Same.
Yeah. Did that not get nominated?
I don't think it got the nomination now.
Oh, that's surprising.
That's a bummer as well.
I wasn't
Yeah.
even that big on it, but I thought it'd get something because I personally think it was one of his better releases.
Yeah, I think it was a very good album, very well produced. And Jay-Z's album was pretty good too. I heard from a lot of people that they didn't like it.
Oh yeah, I was one of those people.
Oh, okay.
But you
Yeah,
liked it, Agah? You liked it.
I did like it, yeah.
I thought he'd get at least nominated for something.
Yeah, but no.
Interesting.
All right, so what other projects do you have coming up in the near future, Agah? You're a pretty busy man, but I know you have something cooking.
Well, I'm working on my second album. I'm working on a book, the story about when I was in Iran and coming to Canada and stuff with a friend of mine. The first draft of that is almost done. And I started an IT company with my Croatian programmer friend. So, I'm trying to get involved with more technological thing because I'm interested in that. So I'm involved with Toronto Transhumanism Group. So it's getting busier, and I also work as a sound guy in the film industry. I'm trying to get into video game industry more too. So.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Have any connections for the film industry for somebody like myself?
What do you do?
At the moment, I do solely writing and whatnot, but I'm a graduate. I've worked with directing, I've worked with acting, I've worked with editing, writing, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, I can introduce you to all the people that I know. I'm mostly getting into commercials and corporate stuff because film for me is mainly just paying my bills, and
Yeah.
that is a part of the industry that pays pretty well.
Hey, anything is good for me.
Yeah, you can hook Andreas up. That'd be awesome.
Here we go. You heard it on Live in Limbo.
Yeah. And so, Agah, you told me that you're starting your own podcast as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, Yeah, it's more than thinking. I'm actually planning it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what topics will you be talking about there?
I'm gonna start with the people who I know around me. Like, the first people's. I have a buddy. He's in pharmaceutical industry. He's pretty high up in New York. My programmer friend. I have a bunch of friends in video games industry, transhumanists, and the whole approach would be, I'm not going to write down any questions. I'm not going to write down any concepts, because I realize that anytime we start talking without any kind of prejudgment whatsoever, it gets very interesting. We just go with the flow, and I'm going to approach it that way. And I was telling you, it can be half an hour, it can be 5 hours. And I'm hoping to start it sometimes in March this year.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
Best of luck with that. That sounds great.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, and where can people find you on social media? Because you're like pretty social.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. It's at Agologist, AGOLOGIST, and I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook page and a Facebook profile. And on LinkedIn, they can also go to my website, Agah Bahari, AGAHBAHARI.com.
There's a dash in between there, right? I think.
No, I bought the other one too, so it doesn't matter.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
Wow, you're well set then. That's why you're going far in the industry. You've got so many sites.
You have
I have a Wikipedia apparently too.
Yeah, you have a Wikipedia. When did you find out about that?
Like 2 years ago.
So you're just...
And you know what's funny though? There was somebody I was working with, and then a lot of times in the music industry, you run into troubles with working with people for a variety of reasons. So anyway, this person wasn't very happy about me, so he hired a hacker.
Oh, wow.
To change some stuff on my Wikipedia page and somebody else's Wikipedia page, and then someone sent it on my Facebook, and then somebody else went and fixed it on my Wikipedia. I was like, what's going on? I don't really know.
Wow, that's so
it's
low.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I've only been featured on Encyclopedia Dramatica, which isn't nearly as impressive.
No, we'll get there.
That's a story for another day.
Yep. So is there any topic that you wanted to bring up before we end off the show today?
Just embrace the technology in whatever you do, especially music, because there are a lot of options available, and I'm just based on what I hear and what I experience with other people. A lot of them just ignore what's going on in the technology world, and they try to approach it in the old school, let's start a band and then go and rehearse, because you don't really need any of those anymore. All you need is a computer and a good software, and you will be able to express yourself musically.
So you're all about the independent musicians doing their own thing, and not necessarily, they don't have to find a label.
Yeah. But that's basically because the general view that I have about life in general, that I think each one of us have something unique to offer. And it's never been easier to make that and promote that than what it is right now. And I think we have to take advantage, especially people who are living in this part of the world, because when you're in countries like Iran and China, like your Facebook is blocked and Twitter is blocked and all that. Yeah. So I think it would be a waste of opportunity not using them.
I totally agree with you.
I agree entirely, actually. Like, if an artist like St. Vincent can release an album solely on GarageBand, and you can make a living just by your hard work and dedication, I think you could take, with whatever you have, even if it's like the worst camera or the best camera, you can take the best pictures if it's just passion and knowing what you're doing solely. And I think with social media, any musician can actually get themselves out there if they try hard enough.
Exactly, and be confident about what you do, and don't try to copy someone else, because there's no really point in being like somebody else, because that somebody else is already here and it's well and alive and kicking and all that. So just have a confidence and go with it, and do something that you enjoy doing, because it will be a rough ride. But if you enjoy doing it, it wouldn't feel like working. You're just playing around, and if something happens. If something didn't happen, at least you did something that you liked.
I think that's a great way to end off the show right there.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So you can find myself on Twitter at Sean Chin, my co-host Andreas at Andreas Babs. As we mentioned before, you can follow Agah at AGOLOGIST, Agologist. And follow the show on Twitter at Live in Limbo. Use the hashtag Capsule Podcast to join in on the conversation. And as always, you can find the show notes of this episode on liveinlimbo.com/capsule. See you next week.
Absolutely. See you later.
See ya.